A crashing wave.
Crashing wave, yeah. Well, Tahm is going to summon that wave, no doubt. He's got the power. No Gangplank this time around. Yesterday we had a very nautical composition for both sides. Gangplank, Tahm Kench, Nautilus, and there was one other one, but I forget exactly who it was. Either way, we do have the lineups here, as LS is going to be predicting the side of Gen.G's composition to have the better scaling and to eventually win this game, which would line up with our expectations as to which team is favored coming into this matchup. Especially, we've seen this Azir versus Pantheon matchup earlier today. It looked really hard for Fly, who is playing Pantheon. It is not a fun lane.
It's not a fun lane by any stretch, and it's so peculiar because they picked the Pantheon into the Sett and the Azir.
Yeah.
You have to wonder what's going through their head. I personally don't know. And I don't want to try to know.
It will remain a mystery. We're not going to try to figure it out, as it is Elise that will be grabbed and put in the death chamber by Kalista. So for all of you out there who don't really know what's going on, why is Kalista in the top lane, this is a new thing. It's a real thing. She can hop around. She's good against melee, of course, and you can see even the call is going to be bought here by Nuguri, because he's just going to be so safe up in that top side. He latches on with his passive to the jungle so that when a gank comes, he can save the Elise, or he can even throw her in for some extra CC. Hoit trying to get some money here, but it's not going to work out.
Not going to be able to find anything. Does have pretty high movement speed, so you can't really blame him from being in close proximity with the Pantheon and looking for some extra gold. Now, some people might be wondering if they've been following along with the post-draft predictions. It is going to be Gen.G that's going to win this game because of the draft. We're 12 for 12 right now. We have to make sure to get it to 13 out of 13.
Imagine being 12 for 12. I mean, you were even, like, Sandbox was not the favorite against Afrika at all. And you looked at both of those drafts and you were like, no, Sandbox is favored. And then they won both games in a row. It was like, that's not supposed to happen, right? Like, and it's not supposed to be 100% win rate for these drafts, right? But even getting close to 100%, even 80% is impressive. But the fact that it's so far already 100 for these couple of days is pretty insane. As they see where the ward is placed, and they're going to bring Clid immediately up to the top lane.
And Clid is really looking to set something up, and I believe that Rascal must have Facebreaker to make this happen, and here we go, but Nuguri did get level 2. They get the flash out, and now immediately going to cast the sweep, or activate the sweeper trinket, the sweeper lens. Clear out the ward, and this doesn't really do all that much to influence the Jarvan. Now, interestingly enough, the Jarvan is able to function on very low economy this game, because it's all about if the Azir and the Ezreal get really big. And so because of that, he's able to just constantly keep running around and influencing the lanes. And if he does that and Kalista and Pantheon can't get noticeable advantages, then he did his job. It doesn't matter if he's down a base level, he's down 1,000 gold compared to the Elise. He will have achieved what he needed to in order to win the game.
Absolutely. And it's going to take little wins, but you can see that Canyon is also really trying hard to influence the enemy jungle by coming in here. She is going to get knocked up, though, that Elise, and he's been hit by the Gromp as well, and it's going to go the way of Clid. He hits level 3 with the TP coming in, and the repel. Is it going to matter? No, it will absolutely not. First Blood is going to go the way here, and now BDD making his way over Rascal, burning down, and is in fact going to go down, but now Nuguri without a flash. They are going to actually have it burn down to Clid. I think they wanted to hand that kill over to Azir, but the burn from the red buff was too much, and in the end, that invade does fail with the 2-1 victory in kills going to Gen.G.
Yeah, 2-1 victory, and they get so much value. You get the teleport off of the Pantheon, and you're absolutely right. They would have ideally liked for that kill to go over to the Azir, giving him the double buffs, but it was Clid that picked it up. You can see he's immediately going back up to top lane. Top lane is in a beautiful state. Nuguri not having a control ward And I don't even think he's going to go over to ward. I think he's just walking straight back to lane. He has his trinket, Valdes, and he's not going to place it. He's so greedy.
I think he will.
Oh, he is?
Here he comes, and he is going to get knocked up. And you can see that he's not going to go down because Rascal couldn't run up the lane. And yes, Clid will eat a lot of damage, but again, just sticking around trying to affect these lanes.
And Clid going to come over and add a lot of mental pressure by clearing away that ward. And so this grants Rascal the ability to shove in this wave, recall, and just go and get some items. He's not under any pressure. The wave is so big, there's no way for Nuguri to really do anything. Let's take a look at this replay. I have no clue what Canyon was thinking, trying to do this drop. Now, you have the crashing wave from the Kalista, but that means that Sett is going to be the first one to respond. Now, pay attention to Rascal. He waits for the repel to end, so he gets the stun on the Facebreaker. Azir making his way over, doesn't really need teleport. Rascal does eventually end up dying, but it does come at the cost of ShowMaker using his flash. And then Nuguri, right at the very end, ends up falling as well. So, in the live game, the Jarvan, we talked about how he's able to be functioning on very low economy, as 649 days ago, Janna was picked. She was picked elsewhere, though. She was picked in LEC, as well as
just in the LCK.
And North America, I believe she was also picked.
Yeah.
And so Janna finally making her debut here. She was banned away, though, I believe.
Yeah, she was,
one of the
actually.
pick bans.
That was when it was all about the supports that go top and just sit there and get money. When Soraka was getting banned at the same time. I think she was banned in like a second phase or something like that.
Yep.
Either way, Rascal here is being zoned off this turret for a little bit. It's okay because it is the cannon, so he gets to wait a bit. But here comes Pantheon, 3-on-2, trying to burst him down, but so much damage coming out from the Haymaker. They're going to get one. Will they get the two? The Fate's Call is going to save Canyon here, but in goes Clid. There's the double kill, and there's Nuguri trying to hop away, but BDD should be able to easily sweep this one up. A couple of autos, and that is going to be the extra kill going to BDD.
And so that is a really unfortunate series of events. And Valdes, in game number 2, DAMWON's going to really have to reassess how they're going to approach the draft here, because this one is all but over. The camera can pan to bot lane as the last potential place that DAMWON can maybe hope to achieve something, but it's a misfortune and a Janna, and they're not the focal pieces of this team composition. It was all about the Pantheon. It's all about the Kalista. They failed to get ahead. Nuguri about to make yet another donation.
Clid is being a bully.
Actually, I think he's going to get out.
He like kind of messed that one up, but here we go. The Superplex coming on in and just going to be punched in the face. Doesn't even need Clid. After that, they're going to fully push this out, and TP was just used by Nuguri. So that's going to be a whole wave missed by that top laner.
And take a look at this replay one more time. Grand Skyfall comes in. Pantheon does the W, but the angle on his E, not that good. It didn't account for if the turret aggro would re-shift over to him, and so he takes a lot of damage, even through his E active, because it wasn't blocking the damage incoming from the turret. And Nuguri, I have no idea what he was trying to do. He knew that BDD would be on the way. The immediate follow-up here is Clid he is living rent-free in Nuguri's head and lane.
Yeah.
He's actually taking brain tax on Nuguri right now.
Oh, no. Not brain tax, Monk. Yeah, I mean, he's just setting up shop. He like came to a new neighborhood. He was like, "Hey, this area looks nice. Let me build a house." And he's been chilling up there. He's been having a good time. Rascal had the option to freeze. I'm not sure. It looks like he's clearing out those minions, so perhaps putting on a small freeze. It looks like, not immediately pushing it out, but puts the lane in kind of a awkward state for Nuguri. You can see how passively he has to play, because this is what you were talking about, taking up, real estate in his head is exactly what's happening, because it causes Nuguri without, to feel very unsafe.
And the thing about this top lane matchup now is even though Sett does not yet have Phage, he has the Ninja Tabbies. And it's just so effective against the Kalista. The mobility early on, also super valuable. Kalista went for the Berserker Greaves and double longsword.
We do have a 2-on-2 here in the river as Canyon is going to get to safety because of the repel, and now Nuguri is going to come down here, but he's going to get burst down! Just like that, as BDD and Clid are going to put an end to him. That Cocoon is going to go wide, and BDD is just skating around the river, and the jungle picks up 2. And now Nuguri and Hoit, even though Hoit got here first, Tahm Kench, he is a Sir. Nice little ultimate there to push them all away. Means that Janna will go to safety, but a massive, magnificent play from Gen.G.
And honestly, Canyon is looking like the Grand Canyon right now. There are so many dents in his gameplay this time around, as he is looking really, really rough. He's making a lot of questionable decisions, getting clapped at every single one. It really looks like Hercule when he tried to run at Cell. If you ever watched Dragon Ball Z? Alright.
Yeah, I remember that.
Valdes never watched Dragon Ball.
Yeah,
okay, you can't fool me or the collective, okay?
I remember. Now, this is going to go the way of DAMWON, funnily enough. Looked like they just got more support faster. ShowMaker just hopped in there with the Grand Skyfall. And that was the end of that. So they very aggressively took that objective back.
And the score is 8-1 right now, just over a 3,000 gold lead. DAMWON, they do have a Mountain Dragon, but none of their champions build any resistances. We take a look at this. ShowMaker runs over eventually, tries to stun up Clid, does proc his Conqueror fully, but BDD ends up arriving as well. Canyon tries to take up residence inside Shelly, and honestly, a beautiful CC chain, not allowing Pantheon to do anything. Hoit came over, the anti-synergy is real. As everything is just going wrong in this game. This is one of the worst games in the world. This is where you mentally type /FF, which actually might be one of the best options right now. This game is so far gone.
Hey, they can't do it yet. There's still 3 minutes plus. They have to wait if they want to go for that. We haven't seen a surrender in pro play in years and years and years. The Observer, by the way, was pointing out that Ezreal had to flash as MF used bullet time, so Ghost winning that small skirmish against Ruler down in the bottom side. Didn't catch that on camera, so thanks to the Observer for letting us know what happened.
And the thing is that Gen.G, they're the scaling team composition. They're the one with the champions that don't need as much resources as DAMWON needs. And DAMWON also thematically has a team composition that fares extremely poorly against Gen.G's. So you add up everything together, and the gold score at the top might say that it's a 3,000 gold lead for Gen.G. It would be much more comparable to something like an 8,000 gold lead, assuming that the team compositions were even or something. And I'm just spitballing a random number to really try to emphasize how deep in the water DAMWON is, and they can't swim.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't draft any nautical champions, so... I mean,
they fell off the ship.
What are you going to do? When you fall off the ship and you can't swim, I mean, you don't really have much
honestly,
of an option, right?
Gen.G, I think that they own the ship this game. That's why Tom's in here.
They own the ship, and they own the piece of ocean that the ship is swimming in. Ships don't swim.
Maybe they
what
fly.
Do ships do?
What if this ship is actually magical and it floats, and that's why Azir's here? You ever think about that?
What do ships actually do, though? They wow.
They float.
What? It's been a long day. I don't know. Like a sailboat floats. But what about like a steam-powered engine? That's not exactly floating. You're like...
They sail.
No, like sailing is a sailboat too. I don't know. Let's blame it on the long day that we've had.
Thank you for that, Valdes.
Yeah, I just had to ask the important questions here.
Yes, this is actually imperative that we understand this.
Yeah.
As, thank you for that. As Sir Thomas, he's actually wearing his sailor outfit.
Yeah, so the ship can float.
So that he
it
can go
swim
down
the river.
back to bot lane. And we have entered into the lull state. Now, DWG Gaming were able to get the top tier 1 turret, and all that this has done is grant Sett the free farm. And I really like Rascal's itemization. He actually picked up the Bramble Vest. It's going to be super effective against not only the Kalista, but also the Pantheon, the MF as well. Just a really nice item purchase. Get that out of the way super early on, and it's just so impactful at every single stage of the game. And Kalista's just going to keep playing ping pong in top lane. And the scary thing is that yes, she has Blade of the Ruined King, yes, she has Zeal, Berserker Greaves, etc. If she has to overextend, Jarvan and Azir can just easily collapse, and yeah, sure, you have...
Oh, he was...
What?
He actually got out of vision there. And there were a lot of pings, but...
don't know how that happened.
That's like a studied thing. Because he flag dragged past the right side, but not past the left side.
Yeah, that was really strange.
Like, he knows that vision is possible on the right side of the scuttle, but not on the left side.
Well,
otherwise, why would he flag drag at all?
Yeah. And, ooh. Bit of a trade going on there. So, mid-tier 1 turret has fallen. And honestly, I think that this game is really showcasing, though, how obnoxious Kalista can be. She was put 6 feet under really early on. And Nuguri on this Kalista, still up 40, 50 CS in top lane, had the first turret. Look at the health on the top tier 1 turret for Nuguri. Basically completely healthy. Now, unfortunately for DWG Gaming, they're not getting bailed out by potentially trying to race to some sort of an Ocean Soul or do something super cheesy and get to it. It's going to be a Cloud Dragon coming up, which means that Gen.G going to have all the more time in the world to just sort of sit back and scale. And without Shirley, there is no way to break Azir's mid-tier 1 turret, which means that DAMWON eventually are just going to be guillotined in mid-game without anything to really do, and Azir and Ezreal will just coast to 4 items freely. Sett's gonna get to 3 items, and team fights are gonna be so lopsided.
You missed the cannon there. And when you said coast, kind of reminded me of like a sailboat on the sea, just sailing by, you know, floating very easily with just the wind behind their sails. And it kind of does feel that way now that you put it for Azir and Ezreal. Just chilling, just sitting back, farming up. They're going to hit their item spikes really comfortably. There's not much that DWG can do. I'd be curious to see how a Kalista does in a team fight, as she does have already the 2 items with the ones that she has picked up already. So definitely really strong in terms of the farm that has been coming out here already. And the mid lane didn't go as poorly for this Pantheon compared to Fly earlier on today. So I suppose that's good news for the side of DWG as well.
Well, DWG is still struggling to really find anything here inside of this game. Now, also, they are getting a little bit of aid. Black Cleaver was picked up on Sett. And Jarvan is pure tank. Ezreal does deal hybrid damage, and obviously Azir. It's a little bit of physical stuff going on, but we've talked ad nauseum over Spring 2020 about itemization and things of this nature. When you don't go Trinity Force on Sett, really just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. You get a little bit more HP from Black Cleaver. Sett's goal is to deal true damage. We might have a team fight.
Janna really finding huge value, actually, to secure that dragon. The 1 tornado was enough to get them that one. The question is, though, what are they going to lose for it, as they're totally zoned out of the mid lane here? And Gen.G to say, okay, let's hop in Tom's belly and go ahead and take a mid-tier 2.
DWG now. Trying to make quick work of this bottom tier 2 turret, and they're going to. be able to get it, Nuguri is going to be extremely big. He's level 13 right now. But you look elsewhere across the... Oh, okay.
Nice. But, stopwatch. And now Hoit is going to protect for now, but I think they can just continue chasing here. Pantheon going to use those wolves to great effect to get to safety.
The heal out of Hoit, though, which is a really big victory. That's 2 summoner spells they got for free. And now...
stopwatch.
Yeah, Nuguri and Canyon are trying to do something down here. Maybe trying to hope that Rascal makes a mistake, walks forward, and ends up dying. And yeah, as you pointed out, they did get the stopwatch. Now, obviously, I'm assuming Canyon will go Zanya's Hourglass, so it's not like it's him just sitting on a stopwatch and you got a ton of gold out of him that he's going to sit on forever and waste an inventory slot. But there's not too much else going on. Jarvan completes Ronduin's Omen, which is really effective in this game, all things considered. Has the Kindle Gem. We'll see if he ends up picking up Knight's Vow or if he just goes on into Warmogs. As Ezreal with the Iceborne Gauntlet, fantastic itemization out of him as well. Ionian Boots, Mirror Mana. The only thing missing here is Leandri's third item on Ezreal. It's actually good. I'm not trolling you.
That's like... That technology is like you're like a time traveler, and everybody else is kind of just like a normal, like a citizen, normal person. So they don't know about that technology yet. But we do know this technology. We've seen this many times. It is going to be scouted out by DAMWON, but do they even care? I mean, the jungle was way down in the bottom side, so they're not going to have a smite for this one, and the damage coming out here with the bullet time is not enough to steal that one as Clid will smite it away. TP used here by DAMWON as they want to force a fight, but it will not happen. As Gen.G now looking for the play onto Canyon. He does have that repel, is going to come in, and now a TP from their own side. As Fate's Call going to help him out there, and ShowMaker now all alone. But what is going on the right side? Rascal all alone, but he is going to trade 1 for 1, looking for a little bit more. But he is going to go down in the end. But that is the only kill going DAMWON's way. So the Baron and a 2 for 1 here for Ruler. Or rather for Gen.G, and Ruler is looking for more as he hops forward. Still had his flash. He could have potentially flashed after them to try to extend it into more people going down and more turrets potentially. But still a big win here for Gen.G.
Yeah, and DAMWON are really sort of almost at a point where they're out of options for what they can try to do. With Baron having gone down, the gold swing even more in Gen.G's favor. We're starting to get to the third item break points. Things are just looking really hopeless right now as in this replay right here, Grand Skyfall comes in, and I have absolutely no clue what Pantheon could ever hope to achieve there as Rascal on the Sett, putting on a little bit of a show, doing a lot of value. They end up getting the flash out of Ghost as well. And here we go, 50 seconds until Cloud Break.
Yeah, it feels like a little bit of Pantheon syndrome today, if we can call it that, where they're just like, I'm going in, I'm the Spartan, you gotta follow up on me. It's like somebody on the team makes the call to go in, and then they just press their ultimate right into the back line, and it's like, wait, that's not exactly what we meant. We saw that earlier with Fly, we're seeing it a little bit here with ShowMaker. The Pantheon can be a strong champion. I like it a lot when they peel for their team, but the ultra-aggressive Pantheon, not so much. I'm going to cut off that thought, though, because we have a bit of a base race that will absolutely be in the favor of Gen.G, as they will feel pretty good about just immediately taking Ghost off the map. No more bullet time to clear the wave. They will continue to push on in here with their minions, as there is not much wave clear on the side of DAMWON Gaming. Nuguri is going to come on in. They are trying to engage your Clid in a bit of trouble, but again, they have Tahm Kench, the Knight himself, and so they're not even going to take down the turret just yet. You can see that BDD and Ruler sticking around, thinking about it, but the flash on in, as Ruler just going to jump away extremely easily, just trading his E for the flash. He'll take that every day as the push is coming down here on the bottom right.
They're going to raise the bot tier 2 turret, immediately turn their attention over to the Cloud Dragon. It's not that big of a victory. There's only 10% ultimate CDR, and realistically, team fights are only taking place once in the current game state, so it doesn't really do a whole lot, especially when the map is as busted open as it currently is. So everyone's going to take a brief reset. Mid tier 3 turret ends up getting raised. You can see the Shurima shuffle right onto Ghost as BDD tells him he doesn't believe
얘네
it.
끝날 생각 간다. 나 갈게 이거.
He said, I'm going to go.
끝내자. 미드 와봐.
We can
얘네
end
이제
the
얘네
game.
집어넣고.
앨리스랑 판테온 집을 거야.
세트 천천히 걸어올 생각도 해.
아, 갈게.
그냥 와라 이거 미드. 미드 오면 끝.
Just come mid and go slow.
Yeah, and the push was going in slow. They weren't, they weren't going absolute 100% forward there. They were just slowly chipping away, seeing if they could get any more objectives. Of course, they weren't able to end, but I could see at that point how they could think that. But then the second everybody came back from DAMWON, they were like, oh, okay, we're just going to get, the kill, maybe a bit of damage onto the turret, and we'll be happy with that. Still miles ahead is Gen.G, even if the gold score is only like 3,000, 3,500 in their favor, it's definitely a lot more. They have 3-item Azir, they have almost 3-item Ezreal, not to mention a super chunky Jarvan, who is quite thick at this moment in time. It's 4, 0, and 7.
What? I've never heard chunky.
He's got so much health, like so hard to fight
like,
through all of that armor.
Sort of like Ben and Jerry's, the chunky monkey ice cream.
He's a chunky monkey. He's having a good time. He's probably the tankiest Jarvan we have seen of late because he just has so much gold in his pockets. He almost has the same streak that the Azir has in terms of a bounty. So he's having a good time. And they're just pushing down top. Oh, just pulling Pantheon over the wall. There's nothing for him to repel over to the right side. He is going to have to flash away as the push will commence once again. The poke damage is huge, especially when they're so far ahead. You talked about this in the draft, and lo and behold, it is coming to life before our eyes.
Well, they're going to play it really safe. They're going to back up 20 seconds until the Baroon does end up spawning. You like that?
The what?
Yeah, the Baroon.
Okay.
NA Shore.
NA Shore.
NA Shore.
I like what Life does there. He's not afraid to just flash. He knows that if it's a 5-on-4, it's going to make it much harder, but his flash is just, it's just a sunner. It's not going to make the biggest difference. They're just going for it. They say, hey, we have Kalista.
You know what? This is why it's the NA Shore.
The Baroon NA Shore, as they are all going to be versed down there in the end. Elise will pick up the Baroon, but will it matter here? Nuguri doing a great job, but a big knock up there by the side of Jarvan, and you can see that Nuguri isn't able to kite away as nothing but air there from BDD as everybody died so fast. Life is just going to lick the Azir, and the soldier is going to hit Life as a little bit of a friendly tussle comes in there at the end. Gen.G 16-3 in kills. They will dominate DAMWON here in game number 1.
Yeah, domination is absolutely the word, as DAMWON are really just looking so lost, but massive